I've seen phone systems all over the place. There is no, I think if there's a perfect phone system, it's a unicorn because everybody has different needs and wants. But from what I've seen, and I've seen probably 20 or 30 different phone systems, smartphone definitely is the one that I advise everybody to get on. It's simple. It's easy to use. It's integrated with Salesforce and Podio.
For those of you guys who don't know, we use smartphone, and honestly, smartphone absolutely changed the game for us. And I'll explain just a very quick backstory as to how it changed the game for us. Now, when we first got into real estate, we were calling everyone on our phone and we were manually dialing. And not only that, but we were on call rail at the time, and we would have to manually punch in phone numbers. And then it would ring to our phone. We'd pick up the phone and it'd say, please press 1 to connect to blah, 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 blah. And then I'd press 1 and then it would dial them. Well, obviously that in and of itself took twice as long than if I were just using my normal cell phone. The problem with the normal cell phone is that you couldn't track. And I'll never forget going to my team and saying, hey guys, how many calls did we make today? And this was literally the response. Well, I think we made about 50. It's like, well, do you think you made 50 or did you actually make 50 calls? Right. But then when it got to a point where CallRail allowed us to track calls, but we saw we did not have as much efficiency as we thought that we could have with the size of a team that we had. So we went and sought out different options, and we actually landed with smartphone. So smartphone was a game changer for us because it integrated with our CRM, which was a really big deal. I no longer had to go and punch phone numbers. I could just click and call. And then on top of that, it also integrated and pulled all of this data into their power dialer, which then allowed us to mass dial. So our team literally overnight went from making 100 dials a day per person to 500, 800, and even up to 1,000 dials a day per person. So literally one person was doing 5 to 10x what any other person in any other organization doing what we do would have done with other tools. So that was instantly, our question to ourselves at this point in time was, how can we do 3 times the volume with a third of the people? Well, this phone system was what exactly allowed us to do that.
One of our users, Kyle, he's a real estate agent, and he actually he started with us and smartphone in October. Yeah, October of last year. In that first month, he using, by the way, a strategy we call first to market, where you just pull in county data and using smartphone and REISift only to call these records number by number. He ended up generating a $15,000 wholesale deal, wholesaled it. Well, in that period in time, over that calling, he had 101 not interested individuals that he had reached. He called back through those 101 not interesteds 90 days or in November, rather late November, early December. And he ended up locking up 3 more deals from a not interested from a month and a half or 2 months ago or whatever, ended up accounting for another $18,000 in profit, which ended up being listings on the MLS, not wholesale deals. Right. And so it's just to prove that most of the time, the reason that you're losing out on deals is not only because your CRM doesn't give you insights that you need to make good business decisions down the line, but also because there's marketing gaps that you don't see, and you're paying for these tools, but they don't necessarily have the ability to tell you the information that's designed, and they're not designed to actually make sure that you can capitalize on this money that you're spending every single day. So anyway, speaking of that, opportunity cost, right? Not capitalizing on opportunity cost, another disease at scale. These bad team members only doing first to market, not bulk marketing, right? This is where the integration with smartphone and smart dialer is so amazing, because we can execute on a very niche strategy using smartphone. But if we want to bulk dial, I can literally send a campaign, and within like less than a minute and a half, I can start calling. In fact, I did a reel on my Instagram last night on sending a campaign, a rehash campaign over to Smart Dialer. And reels are only a minute and a half long. And I was able to go into Smart Dialer, show that it was 100% dialed, go back to REISift, select the records, send them to Smart Dialer, and have a campaign ready for the next morning within a minute and a half.